Just going to slow that down. So last week was bus stop, and this week is what we call coffee. Now, coffee is not code for rooting, right? Coffee is simply that. Coffee is coffee. That's what it is. And so I'm going to ask my assistant, Taylor, to come up. She's my girl tonight. Taylor! Just pre-warming the seat for you. Just pre-warming the seat. Nice note to self. Don't fart, but pre-warm the seat for your lady, all right? And a man always has the dominant seat, right? Nah, I'm joking. Hey! Let them feel the power. All right, so I love the fact that a bunch of you gals came up to me too and said, pick me for this week's asset. Trust me, as we go further down these assets, you might not want to be in bed with me at the end of the series. For those of you watching on video, you'll know what we mean at week 5. All right. So it's going to be an interesting series. So tonight, we're just going to look at a couple of things. I'm going to give you about 10 or 15 not one-liners. You know how... Anybody had a line used on you at some point when they've been picked up? Can you remember what it was? Apart from damn girl or dad ass, you know, that's not a pickup line, all right? Yeah, Mark?
Send me any work.
I said it to my wife from the first time I ever met her. I walked up to her. She's 5'7", 5'8". I put my head in her boobs and I did the motorboat and I went, I love being this height.
Probably ain't any history got away with that,
6 years later, I went out on my first date with her.
Yeah, because you had to get over the broken spine in the process. Oh, nice. Okay,
So,
Holly?
Are you from Tennessee? Because you're the only town that I see.
Oh my god.
That's not bad. If you're in America, all right?
I had 2. One was like, are you Wi-Fi because I feel the connection? And then the other one was like, do you like coffee because I like your latte?
Boys! You know, Susan!
My ex, when we started dating, asked me to open my mouth. And he looked at me and said, what's your friend?
So, a little bit of editing's going to happen like that. I don't know if I'm drinking hot coffee, if that's what I want to be asking Taylor right tonight, alright? Somehow 3rd degree burns just ain't going to go home with me tonight, alright? So, tonight I want to give you about 10 or 15 little lines that you might think, oh, have you ever bumped into even just a new person, and after you've sort of done the whole weather conversation and, oh, my football team, if you follow that, you kind of go, yeah, I got nothing, I need to walk away. Oh, is that... I need the toilet. You know, you ever done that where you kind of, or you don't even approach someone for a conversation because you think, I don't even know how to engage in any kind of conversation. Anybody do that? Yeah, all the time. I get like that too. You know, certain situations I go in, I go, oh, feel this kind of warm feeling come over me like I'm going to vom, you know, or I'm anxious about it and I think I'm in that environment, and even with my personality I can still feel orcs in those kind of environments. And so tonight I want to give you sort of 10 or 15 little conversation, because I think we've lost the art. I don't know if they do this at school, but I didn't remember it at school, where teachers taught us how to actually have a conversation with somebody, and actually what they call progressive questions. You could actually ask a series of questions that could help you get to know someone. I don't know if they teach that. Do they teach that in school?
No.
Great. Does anybody teach that? Do your parents teach you that?
Yes.
Your parents, who said yes? Someone said yes to me?
My parents are like, have a respectable conversation. I'm like, same one.
Nice. So there was a little moment. We're just saying, your parents might say to you, have a respectable conversation. But if the next question I have is, well, what is a respectable conversation? Because it could be like what Susan happened with her ex, and all of a sudden, that, it could be an orifice examination. So the challenge was simply, you need to be able to have a conversation for one of 2 reasons. One, you want to see if the other person that you're talking to is actually intelligent. All right? Number 2, because simply you could look at them and go, that's a whole lot of man. You go, You know, that kind of, it might be simply a raw attraction to someone. Now that'll last for a moment or 5 moments, all right, but it won't last a lifetime because you need to have depth. There's a couple of things you need to have kind of on the same page. Let me give you this little tip, right? You have to have, if you're going to go out with someone, you have to have the similar intelligence. Now, that doesn't mean you're a know-it-all, and it doesn't mean you're a dumbass. What it means is whatever is your mind, you have to be able to connect with that person at a brain level. Because most women these days have been eroded by media to think that it's all about the flesh. Now, the flesh is okay, but a woman will get over the flesh pretty quickly if you can't hold a conversation, because most of you may or may not understand that a woman's turn-on point is in the brain, not in her groin. That happens later, and that's in week 5. But the reality is, you need to first connect with the mind. So, person you're going to go out with has to be as intelligent as you, right? You have to be able to have a conversation. If they're, no offence, if they're of a lower intelligence, then please do not go out with them. That's not a judgment that they're dumb. It just means that you're going to have friction around that moment, and there's things that you're going to want to talk about. They're just not actually going to be able to get on the same page with you, so it's going to be a frustrating conversation. The second thing you need to kind of be about is that they need to have interests that are similar. Not all, but similar interests. They can appreciate your different interests, but you have similar interests. Why do you think having similar interests are important? Anyone?
Do things together.
Do things together? Go.
So you can relate to things.
Relate to things, yeah.
Easier to become attracted to someone who has the same.
Yeah, because you say, if you're a horsey person, it's good to go out riding your horses together. Or if you've got horsepower, so some person might like the motorcycle and someone might like a horse thing. Yeah, nag. So someone not a nag is get off me fish wife. So it's more about somebody might like horses or horsepower. So you've got to be able to, or they might be able to tolerate or be okay about your interests. Why else do you think it's important that you have the same interests?
Got something to talk about.
So hang on, go here. Yeah, got something to talk about. Yeah, and
Just study one behind. Remember, just one behind.
David.
You can help each other through the journey.
Yeah. Again, you have these similar experiences about stuff, and one of you may have experienced more in that interest field than the other person, and so what happens with your intelligence at that point? You begin to share that same intelligence. And another thing you need to do is have the same kind of humour. You need to be You need to be able to laugh at one another, and you need to be able to laugh at yourself. You need to be able to say, "I was such an idiot." Yeah. And the fourth thing is you need to be quick to apologise. You need to say, "You know what? This is not cool. We've got a friction point. We need to stop." Because you value the person more than you value being right at that point. So 4 little tips for you. What was the first one? Similar intelligence. Yep. All right. Number 2. Similar interests. Number 3. Humour. So be able to laugh either way. Number 4.
Being able to say sorry.
Be able to say sorry. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, if my mum and dad did something to me, I would never say sorry. They were always in the wrong. Isn't that right? All parents are wrong, right? Parents are always wrong.
Sometimes.
No, you're wrong. Sometimes they just know a little bit more about things than you do, but you may not have experienced that yet, so you think you're right. So we're going to give you little tips on that tonight. So, the first thing I want you to do, like we talked about last week where we were doing the bus stop, we were all meeting at the bus stop. If you are interested or somebody sparks your interest, this tonight is about just putting up, do you know what a moat is? You know the moat? Yeah. You know the castle? They have a moat. All right? Now, I encourage you that before somebody gets into your castle, right, that you, first of all, they've got to cross the moat. Now, the moat is simply a set of things or values or ideas that you have that they've got to tick off on in order to first cross the moat. Now, what might you put in your moat, apart from crocodiles or piranhas? What might you put in your moat as a blocker to a relationship first up? What might it be? Smoking. Now, for Taylor, smoking. I'm not a smoker, so tick. Okay, right. So smoking is one that might be one of your values. What would be a second one? Go.
Drugs.
Drugs. Drugs?
No thanks.
No thanks. 2. I got 2 for 2. All right, we're good here. All right, number 3. What would be a third one?
Direction in life.
Direction in life. Have you got a good direction in life?
Oh yeah.
So have I. 2, 3 for 3. Yeah, this is going good. We're crossing the moat. The drawbridge is coming down. Go.
Believing in, I don't know, just general beliefs, possible like
Aliens.
gay rights
Yep.
or like conspiracies.
Yep.
Aliens.
So beliefs. Let's just say beliefs.
Yeah.
So we're going to find out whether we've got. So we're at level 3 right now. So we're going to check out one another's beliefs. Yeah.
The
They have to
drawbridge is
smell
on the
good.
They have to smell good.
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right, come on.
They have to smell like
Spicy.
Yeah, well, I pass 4 out of 5. You smell delicious too. Yeah.
Start flying yourself.
I got a better smell than you. Yeah. And trust me, men, for God's sake, use aftershave. You know, I don't even care if you haven't even reached puberty yet. Use a deodorant because you have testosterone surging through your body, and while you may not smell it, the entire universe does. All right? And trust me, the scent of a man, just like the scent of a woman, is powerful when it comes to romance. Rebecca.
I was going to say, can you share the cologne thing matching with the character thing that you share?
Okay, sure. Come back to that. Good. Okay, good. Yep.
That thing.
Honesty.
Honesty. Right. I'm pretty honest right now. I'm sure I want to shag you. No, so I'm pretty honest. Why? Because she looks hot. Yeah. All right. That was a good signal. She leaned in. Yeah. Trust. Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to get to those in a couple of weeks. The one that Beck shared. There's been a survey done around the world. Of course, somebody has to survey something. Is that a person's cologne matches their personality? It's when you somehow what happens is when you go to the My Beauty spot or whatever it is, and you pick up a cologne or a perfume and you spray it. There's something within your senses that picks up the scent that you like the most. The challenge you have, of course, is your own chemistry, and then what you think smells so good may not smell so good to others, right? So, now those of you who know what my cologne is, you're not allowed to say it at this point. What do you think my cologne is?
Oh, Spice.
Who said that? Was that Mark? Gold. Geez, yeah, back in the day. Yeah. It's having a comeback though, because the old Spice guy, but I don't look like him. My cologne is called Obsession, right? Now, my cologne for when I have a lady come up to me and she might hug me, Mary, come up and hug me. No worries, she says. You may not have heard that at the back, but the minute Mary hugged me and she inhaled my cologne, she went, Dan Flint. So, the scent of a man is powerful. Now, there are some women that don't like my cologne. That's okay. Why is that okay?
Because I like it.
It's supposed to happen. So when you choose a cologne, a perfume, it's really powerful because it's sometimes, you've seen the ad on TV, Lynx, and I don't know, Lynx deodorants went through the roof when they just came up with some cool ads. Do Lynx make you cool?
Have you seen the new one?
No, it's just the ad that makes you cool. Because I've smelt some guys that have worn Lynx and I say, change your Lynx, because it ain't happening, nothing's happening. So, what cologne or perfume do you use that gets people saying something? Oh man, you smell amazing. What is that? Tell me. Lovely. Lovely. Who's done that? Who does that one? It's the perfume. It's called Lovely. Good job, boys. Yours is called Legend. Nice. So Lovely and Legend. True. Oscar.
Really expensive one.
Yeah, Calvin Klein. What? Have a look at the bit underneath. If it says toilet, then that's probably not your one. If it says eau de toilette, that's probably the one you want to know about, Yeah. Righty.
Diamond.
Diamond.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Heat. Beyonce Heat.
I love that.
Look at that. Yeah.
Ari.
Ari. Nice. Yeah.
Katy Perry. Purr.
What's it called?
Purr.
Purr. Nice. Down the back.
Yes, guilty. It's my favourite. Can't afford it, but it's my favourite.
Nice. David Brute. David. Hey, Mark went with Old Spice. I'm going with Brute, right?
Beckham.
Beckham. Yeah, I got. Oh, he ruined it by Australian goal kicker.
Gucci guilty.
Ooh, there you go.
Play fantasy.
Beyonce fantasy. Steady. All right. Yep.
True love.
True love. Nice. Tamara. Secret.
Victorious.
Oh, Victoria's Secret. Is that a perfume or is that the brand? What's the name of the perfume?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What is it?
I don't know the brand.
Okay.
Name though.
Interesting, you know. Just go back and look. When you choose stuff, it's so subtle. The fact that it's obsession doesn't mean anything really to me, except someone somewhere did a survey. The fact is, it's something sits pleasantly in my nostrils, and enough that the other people say that's a man. Maybe not in her, you know, but it's okay. So the challenge is simply this. Each of us, when we go into a relationship, there's certain elements that are not out of such a little body, that huge birth came. Right. So, yeah, she fist bumps. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Now, there are some guys out there going, oh, what that, Sheila? You know, so there's others go, oh, you're so rude. You know, so the challenge for us is simply, there's a whole lot of things, guys, that are going on for us chemically, emotionally, optically, auditory, when we're looking to romance someone. Now, romance might scare the crap out of you because you've either been burnt before, you've never been told or instructed on maybe what is the way forward with this whole thing of dating and going out with someone or finding someone to love me. You know, so, couple of things I want you to do is remember, build the moat. There's a couple of things that you have to be really clear about. And let me challenge you, do not compromise your values. So, Taylor says, no smoking, no drugs.
Don't get drunk all the time.
Don't get drunk all the time. Is that like once a week? No, I'm defending you, mate. It's all right. You know, so the challenge for us is simply some values that don't compromise. Do not, at any point. Remember last week we were talking about how Tinder is that sort of swipe left, swipe right idea, and no, well, swipe left every time someone goes to question your values or compromise your values. You swipe left. So a big capital red note comes up with inverted commas on it that says nope. All right? Yeah?
If anyone got the group text, does anyone notice, if you have an iPhone, you actually swipe right to unlock your phone?
Good job. I don't. I use code. Thanks for that. You know, that's important. So, the other thing is this. Tonight, we're on level 2.
Yes.
Years ago, those of us who are a little bit older, you used to go into Myer or somewhere like that, and they would have an elevator operator. You know, they would have someone in there that would stand there and push the buttons for you. They would say, sir, madam, what is the floor that you require? And you would say, well, I'm looking for, and you might say, you know, men's clothing. And they'll say, well, that's on level 4, sir, for level 4. And they'd push level 4 for you. And then they'd have this sort of moment where they were sort of dialogue with you, you know, dialogue with whoever's in the lift. When it got to level 1, level 2, level 3, they would then reel off, you know, what was on those levels. Then it went to automation, and then it came over the you know, they recorded it, and then it was level 4, you know, his lingerie, haberdashery, you know, china and all the other crap that goes in the kitchen. That's kind of what they would say. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is that level 2 is like that. Level 2 is kind of like these conversations you're having to find out what's on the floor. What's on the level with this person. Before you start getting down into this sort of deeper level, which is over the next couple of weeks, is what's on the level with this person, all right? And you can only find that out when you ask some questions. You're going to ask Taylor some questions in a moment. So, you've all seen Shrek, and it talks about, you know, the onion. You know, it's like layers, you know. Ogres have layers like onions. sometimes when we're in a relationship or starting a relationship, a boy will tend to take a knife and start hacking at the onion, you know, and sort of like, I just want to get to the core of the onion straight away. Whereas a girl likes the onion to be unravelled. Now, some of the stuff, guys, that we're going to talk to you about could make you feel uncomfortable over these next few weeks. But I'm telling you, we only want to tell you the truth about romance and about discovering someone to love you, whoever that is. And you can do this same process with your friendship circle, because then you'll know whether they're solid or whether they're just surfacey, level 1 kind of friends versus level 4. And we'll talk about that in a few weeks. So, we're going to ask, and now I got a bit of advice the other day. I was talking about something else, and one of the, it was about real estate, and somebody said to a friend of mine, give me a bit of advice around real estate. And he says, well, you've got 2 ears and 1 mouth. And he says, so listen twice as much as you speak. Now, and listen, it just doesn't mean look blankly at the girl and think about the next question you're going to ask her. Because if you don't remember what she says to you, because she'll remember what you say to her, if she doesn't remember what you say to what she says to you, that will come back and bite you big time. All right? The reason is, one of the reasons we don't listen is because we are only interested in our own needs being met and not the needs of the other person. When someone starts to share their thoughts, their feelings, it's important to take note. Now, I don't care if you have to associate it to an animal or do whatever you have to do to try and remind yourself of that, even if it's you take notes. Even if you say to the girl, listen, you know, I'm just wanting to take some notes about what you're sharing just so I don't forget, and I really want to value what you're saying to me. What would the girl say to that? What would you say to that, Taylor?
I think that automatically for me personally would be a no, because that says to me that they don't have my level of intelligence to remember that conversation.
Bam! So I know, good job! So I know that coffee is all I'm getting out of this, and it's probably going to cost me the coffee. Alright? So that's a good thing. It's a good thing, even though that rejection can sting a little bit. That's important to know, because you know what we see these days is most men and women are on the hunt all the time. They're on the hunt to take something from you or get something from you and could care less about who you are. And we'll be talking a little bit more about that in the coming weeks. So I've got some questions. If you want to take notes about these questions, I got them from eHarmony.
And now you just put it out.
Yeah. So you might start something, and it's important. One thing that's important: do not, men, take your phone out. Do not take your phone out. What's going to happen if I take my phone out, Taylor?
Yeah. There's that block in communication, there's that unsettled nerves, there's the I'm not paying full attention, and it's unless you're checking something really important or you've pre-warned that you might have to take a call or something.
Yeah, so pre-warning is okay if it's like brain surgery. Like, you know, it's like if I need to be called out to do brain surgery, that would be okay, because I'm that kind of intelligent guy. Now, so now I've been called out like this 1,000 times, right? I'll be talking to a young lady like this, and I'll pull out my phone and then I look up and I've got that look. I've actually done it to some of the people in this room. And Mary, and they'll look at you like, I go, it's like that Heineken ad. What? You know, I'm like oblivious. What am I saying to Taylor if I pull my phone out and start using it?
She's not the most important thing.
She's not the most important person right now in my world.
And you're not giving her respect.
Yeah, it's respect. It's all those things you talk about. Trust, respect, you know, the aroma. You're not creating an engaged aroma. Now, if you're both on Facebook, that means you need to come back and ask these questions. Because you haven't learned how to actually have a dialogue with someone without going somewhere else. Now that can be nerves, that can be freaking out, but okay, so a couple of questions you might have is, First of all, it's very important that you look at the person in the eyes. Gentlemen, they're up here. All right? All right, they're up here. All right? They're not here. Although that's a good look, you know, but that's a quick, cheeky look, right? It's kind of like, hey, nice. It's not here. I'm not going there tonight because we're on camera, right? It's not there, and it's not around the other side either. It's like, yeah, ghetto, baby. Nice. So it's not like that. You boys can giggle all you want, but you do that, right?
We notice.
If they notice, and sometimes a lady wants you to notice but not comment yet. All right, so you might, after a bunch of sort of generalities about the weather and everything else, you might start to think, right, this, like that, that's nice. It's like my alarm, you know. So a simple question might be simply something like this. What kind of things make you laugh?
Well, I think people being able to laugh at themselves is a good thing for me. As long as it's not at the expense of somebody else. That's a big thing.
Right. What did we just learn in that 5 seconds that Taylor just spoke?
Don't make fun of people.
Don't make fun of people. Why?
It's gossip.
It's not just gossip, it's her values. Right? This can be a little bit of a minefield to get into because you think, oh, I'm freaking out, I don't want to do this. But you just learned something by just saying, I'm happy for you to laugh, but don't laugh at someone else's expense. In that little, if I wasn't listening, I'll go, yeah, I can do what? Yeah, and then I'll be pointing at some guy out on the street. Yeah, and she'll be, what did I just tell you, you moron? You know, so instantly, coffee's all I'm getting. Now, the coffee might be fantastic, you know, just saying. Hey?
It'd be cold by now.
It'd be cold by now because we've talked too much. Yeah, I have. And then you might do something like this. What's your favourite place in the entire world? Home. And where is home?
Home is just out of Yarra Glen,
Huh?
out the hills. It's like living in a postcard for me because it's the mountains and I've got my horse there and we've got, all our family gets along really well, so I really like living at home.
So family's very important to you.
Absolutely.
Nice. You've got a horse.
I do, I have 2 actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 horses?
2, yeah.
Nice. And tell me about your horses.
So, one of them I got in...
So we'll catch up with you guys in a minute.
He's turning 16 at the end of this year.
16. Is that old for a horse?
Depends on, there's a lot of different things depending on, generally speaking, smaller horses live longer than larger horses, but depending on their workload, what kind of breed they are, they can live anywhere from sort of mid-20s to late 30s.
Nice. And is it fun doing your horses or is it a chore?
Sometimes it can be a chore, but when it is, I need to stop and evaluate why I think it is, because I do love it. It's what I want to base my life around.
So you're looking for somebody that might like horses as well?
Not necessarily.
I hate
they
horses.
don't necessarily have to like horses, they just have to appreciate them as what I do.
Nice. So I might be the kind of guy that couldn't give a crap about horses, but I'm interested in getting into her pants, right? So, now I'm just being honest, all right? I told you we're going to be blunt, right? Because it might not be initially, but the reality is, for a guy, it's like I want more of flesh than I do of brain. I want to encourage you, flesh is short-lived. Brain goes on for a long time. So, Taylor said something there that provoked the next question, that provoked the next sort of dialogue. It's important that we listen because then you haven't got a whole series of questions in your head. You've actually just asked, and all of a sudden she thinks, oh, he asked me a question that went down another level, down another level. So I'm taking an interest in something that's of interest to her. All right, so we haven't even talked about body shape, we haven't talked about sex, we haven't talked about clubbing, we haven't talked about anything yet. We don't need to talk about that at this point. You don't need to talk about that the minute you meet them. I was talking to somebody on the weekend, they were texting someone, and I said, oh, how quickly do you start talking about sex? And they said, within about 3rd or 4th text. You think that's shocking, but that's pretty real. It's pretty normal. Which is, unfortunately, it should be abnormal. So, tell me a little bit about what you were like as a kid.
Very quick to anger.
Heads up. You just got an insight about that one real quick. What did she just tell you? Always check your back. Look out. You know, make a comment, double check. You know, because she's quick to anger. What makes you angry?
Disrespectful people.
Uh-huh.
People that don't finish a job when it needs to be done. Messy butter. That's like a pet hate.
Messy butter?
Yeah.
What kind of like when it's all like chunked
You
up?
like just stab the knife in
Stabbed
and
it.
like chunk bits out. It's got to be smooth. It
So
can't-
do you like get the butter and then just like smooth it all out again? But it's that's so weird. You know, so it's important for you at that point. I can tell you, people have divorced over who squeezes the toothpaste in the middle of the toothpaste, the tubey thing, right? Or leave the lid open, or why is it always scrunched up and all the toothpaste is at the end? People have broken up over this crap. So butter is important to you. I'm starting to get nervous. It's important. Guys, it's important. It's not about me just trying to get here. It's important for me to step back and realise she might just be a friend. This might not. We need to have the maturity to say, you know what? Not everything has to be about, would you be my boyfriend? Would you be my girlfriend? Because we're insecure about who we are. Quite simply, we might have big love gaps in our heart and big love gaps in our journey as human beings that we search for this person here to help fulfill that. And we think, if only she would go out with me. If you don't go out with me, I'm going to be so devo. You know, I'm going to go and kill myself. If you've had a boyfriend or a girlfriend that has tried to use death as a manipulation, time out. Get out. That is never, ever, ever a healthy response, ever. You need some couples counselling at that point. If somebody is manipulating you with either physical harm to either death or themselves physically harming themselves or writing themselves off, that's a moment for you to say, I'm out. That person needs help. And I tell you, hear it all the time. So, we're going to wrap it up. What do you want to do with your life?
Well, by the end of the year, I want to be running my own horse training business. And then my future goals are pretty much revolving all around having my own family, living in my own home, raising my children with my husband in our house. And that will kind of be a short-term thing rather than a large future goal, because I do want to have my first kid before I'm 25. He knows.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's good. That could be the run point. It's good to know that, yeah? Women come to the table at a whole different level. It's important. And it can be, you can be same-sex attracted to. It's important to ask questions of these people that you're going to be attracted to or journeying with at some point. So I might do a time out. Now at that point, we might have been together an hour or two, and you know what? That's all you have to do. We often feel like, you know, we have to kind of take it to a point at that, and I might just say, well, that's really cool. I really thanks for, you know, coming and hanging out with me, having coffee. And be honest, don't say it and then don't call. You just say, look, that was really cool. Thanks for meeting with me. Leave it at that if you're done. Do not go on and say, I'd really like to see you again if you don't mean it, because that lacks integrity and honesty. But you might want to say, in the conversation, you might say, you know, they're into movies and all that sort of stuff, or you'd like to take them out for dinner, because dinner is another level. We're going to talk about that sort of next week when we do chairs. So I might simply say, well, say thanks, Taylor, and she might get up. And I'm not going in for the pash. It's all right, man. It's all right. It's all right. Thank you, Taylor. You were wonderful. Thank you, darling. Come on. I do all kinds of touching in front of the boyfriend, just so he knows it's all above board and safe. Very safe. So, guys, the simple thing to this week I want you to work on is I don't know, when I was in grade 7, year 7, grade, whatever that was, Form 1. In year 7, year 8, there was this incredible pressure in high school that I needed to find a boyfriend or a girlfriend. There was kind of like this, if you didn't have this thing, you were kind of like broken in some way. I have met some healthy women that are between 25 and 35 or 45 who are okay being single. They're just okay. But somehow people talk to them as if it's abnormal for you to be okay and be older. It's like, what? You haven't found a boyfriend yet? Oh, what's wrong with you? There might be nothing wrong with you. You might be totally right. You might be totally okay and doing your thing in your world, and that person will come along when it's right. It's really important. We'll flick a bunch of these questions up on our Facebook page if you feel like you need to copy them down into your phone or something. So whenever you go out with someone, you can just ask some of these questions. These aren't just relationship questions, like as in boyfriend, girlfriend, or, that kind of relationship. These are questions you can just ask of someone if you're trying just to get to know someone. Because usually, good friends make great companions later on. But we go friend zone them. So be careful of the friend zone, because the person who gets friend zoned, and guys, mostly it's the girl that will friend zone you. And you go, no, she's right. And really, you're wanting to go further, but you have no idea how to take that. So guys, in this series, this is our coffee. This is what we call coffee. So when you ask someone for coffee, for a milkshake, for whatever it is, can we just catch up? Make it a public place. Do not make it one of those, let's go down the park and look at one another and kind of moment. Right? Make it public. Right? Do not try to manipulate the situation where that person you want to be alone with. That's not a cool thing. It's not a cool thing. Because emotions get confused at that point. Then when you get further down the track and you break up, it's a disaster for everyone. You lose friends. You lose social service. I don't know how many times people have got together here at Bridge Builders and broken up, and neither of the two returned to Bridge Builders again. Something that was so powerful to them and so important to them and created such a friendship for them. One moment. And it just created such an environment for them that they felt like they could no longer attend here. That is what you call an unhealthy connection. You can still be here and be okay, even if you break up. But if you haven't done the assessment first, I know it seems pretty clinical, but it's not. It saves you a whole lot of hurt, whole lot of pain. And if your body is so needing somebody else to feel loved, you need to come along to that series we're going to teach in a few weeks' time at FOO on a Wednesday night, is it, Rebecca?
Yes.
The FOO series, a Thursday night, right, the 16th. Get along to that. Fine, $35. Bring your parents along, and we'll talk to you about how your need for love is so powerful and how it sort of can compel you forward into doing things you didn't think you'd normally do. As you go into your packs tonight, I want to encourage you. I don't care what age you are, whether